MMAfighting.com, and we were with the great Paddy Pimblett. Finally, Paddy, you're getting back to action this weekend at Cage Warriors 111. A lot of people can't wait to see you back in there. How good does it feel for you to be back?
Feels brilliant, know what I mean? I just can't wait to get back in there. It's been too long. 15 months out, it's the longest I've ever had out in my career, know what I mean? I had 10 months before the Grimshaw fight, and that killed me, and then I had a good few months after I lost to Nad, and that killed me again, know what I mean? But this has been an all new level, coming back off a loss and that, but like I said, I just can't wait to get in there and make a statement.
You put out a post recently about your hand, and you had talked to me about your hand on an episode of Eurobash, I believe, and you know the problems you had with getting back to full fitness. How bad was that? I mean, you said you were struggling with depression and stuff in the post you put out, and fair play to you for being so honest. I mean, how hard did it get, like, during those times where you couldn't train the way you used to, I suppose?
When like training keeps us sane, know what I mean? It's the one thing that we can, when you get on the mat and you start training, nothing else in the world matters. Know what I mean? You can be arguing with your bird, arguing with your mum and dad, having murder on social media, but when you get on the mat, you forget about all that and you're just training. There was times when I couldn't do that, and I had demons in the back of my head that were just coming up and up and up, and they get to you, know what I mean? Especially when you're sitting there with a cast on and you can't do nothing with your main hand, know what I mean? You're sitting there thinking, oh my God, what's my life turning into here? I'm failing at what I'm doing, but like I said the other day, it's in hindsight now, it's made me a bigger person, made me a better person, and I've turned into a man now, know what I mean? I was a boy back then, and you're all going to see that come Friday night.
I thought it was very cool that the first thing you wanted to do when you came back was fight Donovan, because you guys had the fight booked before. I thought that was really cool, and obviously the fight's fallen apart, unfortunately, again. Joe Gianetti's a great opponent to get in on short notice. I mean, was there ever a time where you were like, this is going to be postponed again? You know, is this really going to happen? Like, I mean, is this being taken away from me?
Yeah, I'll be honest, a lot of people told me not to fight Donovan, have a warm-up fight first and then fight Donovan, know what I mean? But I'm not about all that. Come back in and fight him. I said when I pulled out last year that first fight back, if he wants it, he can have it, know what I mean? I pulled out on him, so that was only fair, but I hope that Donovan gets better soon, know what I mean? I hope his health gets better, but like you say, Joe Gianetti's a good fight. A lot of people got offered this fight, UFC vets, people in Cage Warriors who've talked shit about my name and said this and that, but they never stepped up, know what I mean? Other people could have stepped up and never. Jojo stepped up on 10 days notice, so I respect him for that, but he's got a passport and left his country for a beatdown.
He's a good name value. I mean, when this was announced, I mean, you're usually the guy who's bringing all the eyes to your fights all the time, right? Like, I mean, it's the Paddy Pimblett show. Were you happy, like, the fact that this guy is well known? He was a tough finalist. Does that stuff matter to you at all? Because I know there's always going to be eyes on your fights, right?
He got a good reception, like, know what I mean? A lot of people. There was only like one other name that accepted the fight, and it wouldn't have been like, yeah, someone who's on a skid, but at least he had the balls to step up, know what I mean? But at least they got a decent opponent, someone who's well known, know what I mean? As you say, he's been on a tough finale, but he hasn't fought anyone like I've fought. His calibre of opponent's terrible compared to mine. If you cross references some of his wins over to some of mine, know what I mean? Even like his losses, sure, his losses to someone who's 27 and 16, something like that.
I feel like it's completely different when you're here. And even James Webb, who's going to be the main event, I was speaking to him earlier this week, and he said, like, I'm excited to be on a Paddy Pimblett card. You know, he said, this is crazy. Do you still, like, I mean, do you take it as a good thing that you've taken this time away and you're still coming back as the man, so to speak? I know you're not the headline fight, but it doesn't really make any odds. I think I feel like people are really buzzing to see you back in there. Is that a good feeling to know that you can dip out and come back?
Yeah, of course. It's exciting, know what I mean, to know that a lot of people are looking forward to me return. And you know, I'm excited to be on the card with 3 title fights as well. Like, that makes me happy, know what I mean? And people are still talking about me, even though there's 3 title fights on the card. There's going to be some terrific fights on the card as well as me, but I know I'm going to steal the show. Whenever I fight in London, I always do, especially on a Friday night. Fought Teddy Violet here and Grimshaw on a Friday night, and they were some of my best performances to date, so it's going to be another one of them. and I'm made up on first on the main card. I like that, knowing when I'm on, knowing when I'm walking out, and I'll be readier than ever.
It's interesting with the lightweight title picture at the moment, because a lot of people feel as though Joy is just on the verge of signing. Mason Jones feels as though he's next in line. You had said that, you know, if me and Donovan fight, that's a good enough fight to be for the lightweight title, had Joy left and gone to the UFC. You've done it all with Cage Warriors already, but I mean, does that belt still mean a lot to you? Is that something you still want to get back around your waist?
Yeah, it is. It's especially when I was an injury away from getting it. You know what I mean? I was a fucked up hand away from winning that belt, and it wasn't meant to be that night. And I've spoken about this with Paul. I've always maintained I want to get the lightweight belt, but it's starting to do me head in now, the amount of dickheads. Oh, why in the UFC, not good enough for the UFC, or this and that. So I've knocked them back twice. When it comes a third time, I'm probably not going to. You know what I mean? I'll probably go, whether it's I have got the lightweight belt or not. I'm probably just going to go, because I'm sick of idiots asking me, and I know when I get there that I won't just be a European superstar, I'll be a world superstar after one interview.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's a conversation that's been going on for a long time. Is like, when is Paddy going to go? And I know you chose to stay with Cage Warriors for a long time, but it's also, you know, you had talked about wanting to get the lightweight belt, but does it kind of feel like I've done this already? Like, why am I? Are you nearly feel like you're holding yourself back if you're to stay around and collect those titles again, or try to get another Cage Warriors title?
Well, now I'm glad in hindsight that I never went, because the first time I got offered, I just won the belt. I was 21, young kid, going out partying all the time and just not being professional, know what I mean? And the second time I got offered, I didn't know, but I had a broken bone in my hand, and it was before the back fight, before the injury or anything. And if I would have went then, I would have been fighting with a broken hand on the Liverpool card, know what I mean? So I don't think I was ready then either. But now I know for a fact, after I beat Giannetti, that if I get the call up, that I'm ready. Like, this is the first time I've had a proper scientifically strength and conditioning regime. I'd look the fittest I've ever looked, know what I mean? I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. My striking's on point, my grappling's on point, like it always is. Like I say, I can't wait to make a statement on a Friday night. It's gonna get messy.
It's interesting, like you said, about the hand there and injuries and stuff. Like, I mean, do you feel like you're as close to 100% as you can be before you're getting in here this time, or is there always going to be a few niggles?
Yeah. It goes without saying, there's always going to be a few niggles. Every fighter has a few niggles going into a fight. If you're not going into a fight with a little injury, you haven't done your camp right, have you? Know what I mean? We train that hard. The injuries are just by and by with the sports. I think everyone goes into a fight with an injury. It's just one of them things that we have to get on with.
You're still so young. I think people forget, like, I mean, most people retire from the sport, very good fighters retire from the sport, having never achieved what you've already achieved in MMA, and I think people forget that an awful lot. But do you feel like you have to remind people how young you are and how far the road is still ahead of you in this game?
Yeah, I do. I always have to do it. You know what I mean? I always have to remind people how young I am, because they forget. I say I'm 24, and like, you know how young that is for this sport. I've still got another maybe 15, 20 years in me in this sport. Look, how old's Joel Romero? 42 or something. You know what I mean? If I go as long as him, I've got another 18 years, lad.
It's a lot of money.
A lot, you know what I mean? And a lot of time. Most people don't sign for the UFC till they're in their late 20s. You know what I mean? I'm still in my mid-20s. Some people don't sign till they're after 30, lad.
Is it easier to be in fight camp when Liverpool are playing so well, or is it harder because you want to go out with the lads?
It's a bit of both, you know what I mean? It's a bit of both, lad, to be honest. I was in a box with one of my sponsors, who 4D Fashion, who do these t-shirts. I was in a box with them when the Newcastle game was on. That was like the start of my camp, so I had to take it a little bit easy, you know what I mean? But he's got on me saying there's a seat for me in the lounge next week for the Napoli game. Nice. So I'm going to be like 10 pints deep celebrating, lad, 3-course meal, loads of scran.
You can't be wearing that jumper if they're playing Napoli though, right?
No, of course not. Of course not. I'll have another 4D Fashion tee on.
Just one last one, Paddy. So are we saying after this, if this goes according to plan, you're happy to go to the UFC, but you'd also, is it like UFC or I want to be fighting for the title, or do you even mind what happens if it isn't the UFC?
Yeah, of course. Like, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? If the UFC come in, I probably will go to the UFC, but I'd love to do another fight in the Northwest before I do go. You know what I mean? Whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Manny, whether it's something like that at the start of next year. But we'll see what happens. I know the lightweight division's stacked, so I don't even know if Jai will get signed just yet. I can see Jai fighting Mason for the belt, where Desmae's out and I'm fighting someone else. I can see Jai fighting Mason for the belt, even though Desmae is meant to be #1 contender. Know what I mean? I know Mason beat him, but it was a 2-round-to-1 decision. I rate Mason, I do, but I think a lot of people are blowing smoke up his ass at the same time. Like, Jai is UFC ready. Jai could go, but also I think I beat Jai. Know what I mean? Jai's got very good striking, but we've seen Steve O'Keefe take him down and dominate him on the floor. And I can do that to anyone in this lightweight or featherweight division.
Paddy, an absolute pleasure to finally interview in person for the first time. Amazing.
Finally, lad, it's nice. Nice, isn't it? Hey, brilliant.